People do some things, rather than use turpentine, which is pretty toxic, they do is they get some baby oil, and they just, I'm doing this in the sink to keep the mess at a minimum, and they just, and turn, dab and turn, seems to be the best. That seems to be really working well too, so I'll just keep going like that. And the idea is to get as much oil into the bristles as possible to displace that paint that's in there. Now this is a white brush, so you can see I got a long way to go to get that out of there. Then it's gonna, maybe I'll do. Usually get something to kind of brush it up against to get it go. But for now, we'll just go like this. I'll just turn it. Oops, tried to do this one-handed, but you can see it clears it off quite a bit. I mean, that was black, so it's coming out. So yeah, just keep turning until you get no more color, and then you can just, you can see that's working. Now these brushes, these might be a little bit too late to do that with, but and then after I'm done doing that, let's keep, it's hard to do this one hand, but yeah, so get that nice and get that all. Again, these are really cheap brushes. This is why you should start with cheap brushes, not extremely expensive ones probably, until you get this process down. So right now, it feels pretty good. Then, to wash it out a bit more, I'm going to use some just plain dish soap. I'm going to use it in kind of like that, but I'll put this one in there. I don't see, this one is solid. You can see there's still paint coming off because I used it today. But I mean, it doesn't mean that you can't ever use this brush for anything else, but it's definitely lost its springiness. And then I got this little guy here, and that's the same thing. But that'll be a good detail brush for certain things, and yeah, so well, it's starting to loosen up. The baby oil might help to loosen up a bit too. So what I'm going to do is get like a board or something and just do that again, it's hard to hold the phone and do this at the same time, but just keep moving that back and forth until there's like no paint. But where the paint you want to really get it out of is up here, and what you don't want to do is this, like when you put it in the, how you do this one-handed, I don't know. But anyway, you don't the tendency to pull, well, there's glue in there, okay, and that glue holds in the bristles inside the ferrule, and if you keep pulling, you're going to pull all the hairs out. So what you want to do instead is turn, and when you put it in your like this here, you're going to turn it rather than pull it. So don't pull your brush through, and then you're just going to till it's nice and pliable again. And again, the more you get out, until you don't see any color, the more you get out, the better. Now that's just stage 1. Stage 2, I guess I'm going to have to get another one, is basically, I'll just do it right in the sink. Nobody will ever know until they see the paint stain. So just put actual dish soap in there. You can see there's a little bit of color still coming out. Oh yeah, look at the color coming right out of that. And it's been maybe about half an hour since I finished my painting. Now maybe I did this backwards. Maybe I was supposed to do the dish soap first and the baby oil last. I know at the end you put the baby oil on it to kind of preserve the hairs. What you're really going after, like oil and water don't mix, right? So now I'm going to rinse this out, but I'm going to rinse this out after. What I'm going to do is just let it kind of, look at how it's coming white again. Whenever, that's wow. So that might be a very nice alternative to turpentine, that's for sure. But how well does it work? Right now, I mean, that brush is a lot more pliable than what it was when I was painting with it. So, okay, now what I'm going to do, just going to wipe it off again. It's almost nice and clear there. Almost nice and clear, so, oh yeah, look at that. Look at that. It's white again. Yay! My 8-cent paintbrush has been saved. So I'm just going to go like that. I'm going to get a board or something later. Make sure I'm not peeing through onto the counter. Yeah, I don't think, yeah. Oh, yeah, night and day difference. So, yeah, so I guess I got the procedure backwards, but now what I'm going to do here is, I'm doing it in the sink because I'd rather mark up the sink than anything else. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be able to save this brush. It might be way too far gone. It's been sitting like that for a long time. That's working though. Okay, I'll put it back in the baby oil for now. Here's what else I'm going to do though, is I'm going to wipe this up. Okay, I'm going to wipe this out, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm just going to grab it. I'm going to throw it out. Why? I don't want it to go down the sink. You know. Look at that. That's impressive. It's like I knew what I'm doing. Well, so as a novice, this is one way. Which is good. That means I don't have to go in there. Well, I'm going to have to get some turpentine anyway because you use it mixing it in your paints and stuff like that. Look at that, nice and clear. Okay, and you really, what the experts are telling the novice guys like me is you really want to get the paint out of the center, up at the top, because it builds up over time and then your brush gets less pliable. But that brush is good. That's and then when you let it dry, you just let it dry head up like that. I might not have all the lingos proper, but you get the idea. In noob speak, this is good. But this is a, you know, remember, you can paint all day, but when you have to clean up after, you got to clean up. So, so you see, this one is still pretty stiff, but it's starting to loosen up a bit. So the baby oil does loosen it up a bit. Maybe I'll just leave these guys in the baby oil for another 20 minutes or so. Then I'll go back to the dish soap, and then. I'll do the dish soap one more time, maybe. Oops. Why don't I just get that all over the counter? You should probably do this in a... Well, I don't have a basement sink anymore, but anyway, you get the idea. We had to hook up the dishwasher, and it required removing the basement sink because the dishwasher being higher than the sink in the basement, it led to massive backflow. Sometimes the plug just wouldn't hold in the water. So I'm just going to do one more thing. Oh, it's a dab of soap there. I'm amazed how well that works. You get the brushes all... See, it's pretty clear now. Not a lot coming out. So that's good. If you don't see paint coming out, that means you got most of it. But make sure that you kind of roll it a bit so that you can get the soap and baby oil into the into the bristles as much as possible. Then cool water or lukewarm water at the most. They say not to use hot water at all. Because it basically, I guess in a nutshell, it loosens the glue and then your hairs will come out. And this brush, I believe is a hair brush, not a nylon brush, so then we'll do a little bit more. Again, if you see any paint coming out, then you didn't get it all, but use a dish or something like that you can just, soft up all the... Oh, yuckiness, but look at how nice and white and clean that. I mean, that was black paint, so nice thing about black paint is you can tell if you got it all. A little bit, but that's probably from like a long time ago. Nice and clean. Just keep doing that until you know you got everything. And then just let it dry. There we go. Yeah. And there, an expert novice way to, and cheap way, and a fairly environmentally friendly way to clean your brushes. There we go. So, better light on that. There, see, painting with canvas. It almost looks like a painting, eh? There you go. What? Focusing on the wrong thing. But anyway, you get the idea. And then again, the head, just get a piece of wood or something just to do that a million times until it's as dry as possible, and then just leave it dry. So there we go. If you get it to focus. But anyway, you get the idea. So again, I try it again. I'm not seeing any color coming out. There we go. So brush is saved, and so nobody saw that. Nobody saw that. And as far as this is concerned, oh yeah, it's kind of loosening it up a bit. So see, I cleaned them when I put them away, but this one is like really hard. So I don't think I'll be able to save this one, but you never know. If the oil can get in there to kind of defunk some of the paint, maybe it'll do it. We'll see. We'll see. And if you have any tips and tricks, please post them down below. Again, this is all about learning and stuff like that. Like everything I do, it's always about, sharing how to learn and what to learn and stuff like that. So I bet you my painting would have been 10 times smoother if I would have done this first. But now I know for the next painting, right? So There you go. Look at that. See, no color coming out. Give it a little bit of a twirl. That's pretty dry. There we go. And then let's give it another twirl, and then. Yep, there we go. Clean. Okay, cleaning the brushes now. I don't have a lot here, but I've seen some people do some things rather than use turpentine, which is pretty toxic. They do is they get some baby oil, and they just doing this in the sink to keep the mess at a minimum, and they just turn, dab and turn seems to be the best. That seems to be really working well too. So I'll just keep going like that. And the idea is to get as much oil into the bristles as possible to displace that paint that's in there. Now this is a white brush, so you can see I got a long way to go to get that out of there. Then it's gonna, maybe I'll do. Usually get something to kind of brush it up against to get it go, but for now we'll just go like this. We'll just turn it. Oops, hard to do this one-handed, but you see it clears it off quite a bit. I mean, that was black, so it's coming out. So yeah, just keep turning until you get no more color, and then you can just, you can see that's working. Now these brushes, these might be a little bit too late to do that with, but and then after I'm done doing that, let's keep, it's hard to do this one hand, but yeah, so get that nice and